Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So guys, today I'm going to share my interview experience of OCI, that is Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Division. Uh, so this designation was of the SMTS, like Senior Member of Technical Staff. And so in this video, I'm going to discuss the complete details, like how many rounds were taken, and then uh, which type of questions were asked in which round, and then finally uh, how much total CTC was offered and what was the breakup of the CTC. So I'll discuss everything in detail. So be with me. So without any further delay, let's start. So I had applied to this position through the LinkedIn. So like I had basically applied on for multiple positions, multiple open positions for OCI as well as for Oracle job openings, and I also reached out to the recruiter directly through the messaging. Like basically, I got the message from the Oracle recruiter directly at LinkedIn. So I replied them. I also reached out to some of my friends uh, who are currently working in Oracle, and I also applied to the Oracle career page. So from there, like I don't know exactly uh, like uh, which of these methods clicked because I had applied through multiple modes. I also reached out to recruiter through my friends and referrals. So like I think maybe like LinkedIn clicked it. So I got the call for initial profile shortlisting from the recruitment team that my profile has been shortlisted and they are ready to take the screening round. So I think after applying uh, through multiple sites, after 1 week, I got a call that my screening round is scheduled. Like just after 1 week of applying to these portals, so then the screening round was scheduled. So normally, so these many interview rounds I went through. So first round was a screening round. So like a screening round is like clear elimination round. So they will ask you a few questions, like it might be also on the telephonic interview, or like they can schedule an interview, a virtual interview, where they will ask questions around 30 minutes. So there they also basically check your whether you are whether you will adjust in the Oracle environment or not. So it you can assume that it might be your fitment round type of interview, and they will also judge your technical ability. So my profile was shortlisted for Java position, so Java and microservices, and then Oracle database. So that was the basic requirement. On top of that, like if you have the experience of Kafka or messaging queue, so that is an added advantage. So that was the profile. So the first round was screening round, and my screening round was clear. So after that, like they conduct loop rounds. So basically, loop rounds, what happens like, so in loop rounds there will be no any elimination. So once you clear this screening round, so you have to go through 5 different interview rounds. So in those 5 rounds of interview, 2 rounds would be completely technical, like it would be completely coding round. After that, one round would be system design round, and then one round would be like bartender round. So this round is something like here the interviewer. So one more thing, just to add it here. So in OCI, basically they conduct interview for a particular team, like the team in which you are going to join if you get selected. Okay, but this bartender round, so normally out of these 5 rounds, 4 rounds will be conducted by the by your team member, by your team member themselves. So like them it might be possible like he or she might be junior to you, but they are taking the first 2 rounds, like the coding rounds. But one round, that is the system design round, so this round is normally taken by some senior guy who has the experience of at least minimum 8 years. Okay, and more than 8 years. And after that, one round is taken by the hiring manager. Hiring manager basically ask most of the questions related to like they will basically check like what work you have done in your previous project, what were technology stack, and few questions they will ask on top of that, just to check like whether you are able to think at runtime or not, how quickly you can think of something or come out with certain solutions. And but this bartender round is taken by someone that is not the part of your team, the team which you are going to join after getting selected. So this round is basically, and the way they select any candidate is that out of these 5 rounds, so they take the feedback from all the interviewers, and then finally they collect all those feedback, and if you have got the positive feedback from at least from the three interviewer, that is like if you crack three round at least out of these five rounds, then you would get selected most probably. But if you do not get the positive feedback three out of five interview round, in that case you will not get selected. So so now I'll go through the rounds, like what questions were asked to me through these rounds. So I'll go through the questions. So the first, let me talk about the screening round. Since a screening round is a very crucial round, like it's simply elimination round. If you do not crack it, it means you will not your profile will not be further processed for any more round. So the question which was asked to me, so the first question was that basically I had to write functions that basically load and find the maximum for infinite stream of integers. So like you are given an infinite stream of integers, so you have to find max from there. Basically you have to load it. How you will load it, there might be different ways. Okay, so you need to come up with a solution like how you can load the infinite stream of integers, and then you have to find the max. So in my case, they ask this question that I have to find max, but they can also ask you like find mean, find max, or something, some different sort of combination formulation. Okay, and then they added that the load will keep taking input from a stream, and find max will return max value for incoming input stream. So it's not like that you are given a fixed size of numbers, fixed number of integers, and you have to come up with the find max or find min. It's infinite stream of integers. So I hope you guys know like how to solve it. Okay, so this was the first question, and then they will ask like if you come up with a solution, like suppose initially if you come up with a brute force solution, and time complexity and space complexity is not as optimized as it should be, then they might ask you like can you optimize the solution or not. So this was the first question in the screening round, and then the second question was this one, that uh, there is an application, and application is publishing events. So you have to consume events and display events of last 5 minutes. So basically, again here like for example, you can think of something like Kafka, publisher subscriber models. So they are like, suppose there is a producer, it's producing events, or like it's publishing events, and there is consumer, it's consuming events. And but here there is one catch, that you have to display events of only last 5 minutes. Okay, so you have to come up with your own algorithm. They will not say anything like whether it's Kafka or messaging queue or how the events is coming. They will simply give you the use case, that this is the use case, there is application, it's publishing events, and you have to consume events and display events of last 5 minutes. So you have to give the algorithm how will you design this application, and can you write the pseudocode, and then you have to uh, give it a space complexity and time complexity. And initially, if you have written this code or this if you have built this application considering that it's a single instance application, then they will ask you like if load increases or the user base increases, then how will you scale your application for multi instances. So basically they check whether do you have the experience of the microservices application or not, like or how you can design microservice application, how different microservice application can interact with one another, and with how many microservices you have worked in the past. So they want to check all those things here. So basically only these two questions were asked, and then they asked many sub questions on the basis of these two questions. Like for example, in the second question, I came up with the approach of Kafka, and I wrote the pseudocode. Then they asked many questions like why Kafka, and then I come up with initially with a monolithic application. So then they ask when like how we can scale this application. Then I suggested microservices. Then they asked me like how will you do the tracing, how will you monitor microservice application, basically how do you configure if you have multiple microservice application, how many microservice application I have handled. So many questions related to microservices itself. So there were these two questions only in the screening round. So I got the result of a screening round just after 2 days, that my screening round got cleared, and now they will conduct five loop rounds, and they will conduct the loop rounds. And there is one more thing, and they told me that all of these loop rounds will be conducted in the same day. Okay, so in my case, like so I took all these rounds by uh, going personally to the Oracle office that is in Martha Halli. Okay, so all of these 5 rounds were conducted face to face in Martha Halli office of Oracle. Okay, so now I'll go through these 5 rounds. What all different questions were asked in these 5 rounds. So let's go ahead. So the first round was completely like coding rounds, coding algorithm, data structure related to that. So the first question was asked me like, although they say that it's completely coding round, but it's not like completely coding round. Depends again on the interviewer. Like if your interviewer is more like suppose like if your interviewer is has more experience, like more than 10 or 12 years, so he would focus more towards the system design side. But if someone is taking your interview who has like little bit lesser experience, like 3 or 4 years, so he will be more focused towards the data structure, because like if someone is working in the industry for 13, 14 years, so they are more towards the system design side, right? But if someone has just joined, or like who is working as a software engineer or senior software engineer, so they basically will ask you more towards the data structure side question, data structure coding questions, more in-depth question. Okay, so for me, the first question was asked like, can I design rate limiter? Okay, and then I came up with initial solution. Then they asked me like many counter questions, like how it can be optimized, a different scenario, like if you could suppose if you give one particular solution, like we can implement leaky bucket solution or something, then they will ask you why leaky bucket. Then then you can come up with some other solution. So they will keep asking you, like basically they check whether can you further optimize it or not, or can you think of some other solution or not, like or like what is the drawback of this solution, can we further like improvise it or not. So they just want to check whether uh, you have the thinking capability or not. So this was the first question. And then after giving the initial solution, like basically algorithm and approach how I'm going to design this rate limiter, so then they ask me, can I write some pseudocode? Okay, so then I also wrote the pseudocode for that. Then uh, after this, the second question they asked me that yeah, so yeah, they asked me like how we can handle multiple paths. So this question initially I didn't understand what they are trying to ask, but then I cleared my doubt. I asked many cross questions. So they asked me like basically how we can handle multiple paths and make it configurable for separate APIs and clients. Okay, so basically they were asking here like if you have given multiple APIs, okay, in the REST based API in an application, so can we make these API configurable, and can we configure multiple paths for the. So basically they were trying to ask like what I got, that how we can multiple we can handle a different version of the same API. Okay, basically they were trying to ask this thing. So for that again we can have different approaches, right, to handle the different version of API. So I just gave the solution what I what came to my mind at that moment. So but they like they were looking for some other solutions. So then again I proposed one other variant. So they were like not good, not bad, they were like okay, okay type. So this was my first round. Then the second round was like completely coding. Second round was completely coding, no, nothing related to system design. They asked just 2 or 3 coding question in this round. So and coding question was completely based on microservices and multi-threading, more towards the multi-threading. So the first question was that write a program which takes two array as input, and element of first array is rotated left as per given second array input. So you have to return the index of maximum element after each rotation. So this was the question, and I think you can get this question at the lead code in the medium level. So this was the first question in the second round. So it's completely like it was like a DS question. So I think anyone who is preparing for OCI, this question should be quite pretty easy for them. And the second question was that write a program to count all connected components in a graph. So this was second question related to graph. So I would just like to mention one thing here, that once you are going for interview in the loop round especially, then you should have good command over the data structure, especially on the array, binary stack, and graph, because most of the question they ask. So normally what they will do, what I have observed and what I have discussed with many of my friends who are working currently in OCI. So uh, most of the people have got the one question at least from either from the binary tree or from graph. So you should have good command, not like complex. You do not need to solve the complex question of the lead code. You have to, or hard level, so you have to solve at least medium level questions, so that you at least you should have concept, your concept should be clear, and then you can easily crack these first two round. Okay, then let's move forward to the round third. Okay, so this round was techno managerial round. So again, as I mentioned earlier, that in this round mainly manager will check your current project where you are working, what is the technology stack you are what are technology stack you are working there, uh, whether you have the experience of the, so in my case, like they were looking for Java, uh, microservices, Spring Boot. So he was mainly checking like, are we am I good on on microservices or not, like have I worked on Spring Boot or not. And in database side we are checking like, have I worked on the Oracle DB or not. So and he asked few query questions, few SQL query questions related to Oracle DB, and few join, inner join, outer join, left join, these questions. And then he also asked me to design, do a API design for a system. So for the system was very simple. Like he asked me to design, I think, yes. So you know, like our tax structure keeps changing every year. So he asked me like, I have to build an application, basically. That will be dynamic in nature, and it will have the API, so that can calculate the tax of any individual just by giving the input. So for that he told me to design the API. Okay, and then he asked me later like, what all security principles need to follow when we design any API. So and then later he asked me some behavioral question, and then later he asked me like, I can did have I also worked on NFR, like non-functional requirement, like, so like the application should be available for 99.9% time, have I worked on the cloud or not, these things. So this round was pretty okay, like, so because in technology round, like if you have clear coding round, if your coding round is good, you are confident, then you can easily crack this round pretty easy way. Then round four. So this round again, round four is very important, because in this round the guy who is going to take your interview, he's not be the part of same team, so he has different mindset. He'll come up with a fresh approach. He will ask any random question because he does not know that project, right? So he'll ask quite generic question. Okay, so he came and he asked me first question like, how does a request flow when we hit any URL. Like, so for example, when we hit like google.com, so basically what happens, like the moment we hit the URL till the moment we get the response. So I had to explain the complete process, what happens what happens in the backend. And at each step he was asking me counter question like, okay, so okay, this is, so suppose like you went to CDN, you will optimize cache, you will do this thing, you will do that. So you were asking counter question at each step. Okay, then second question he will ask me like, okay, so I also talked about DNS mapping. So it then asked me like, how the DNS mapping works, can we design it or something like that. And then he asked me like, how does VPN work. Then few more questions related to network security. And then he finally asked me like, can I explain what all projects I have done, and what was the best project that I have worked in my entire career. Can I explain its architectural diagram, what are different components, how it interacts, and what are different technologies take used in that project. So that was the last question. So this round was also pretty okay. And then the last round. So one more thing to mention here, that uh, although there will be five rounds in the loop round, but the order of round, like whether your first round will be coding or your first round is techno manager, that's not like completely rigid. It can be flexible. So it might possible that your first round would be coding itself, or your first round might be like techno managerial. But one thing is pretty sure, that there will be five rounds conducted. You have to attend all five rounds. Okay, so this round five was like the system designing round. So here again, like, the interviewer asked me question like, can I design a service which will process, document, store structured data, non-structured data files. So basically he was looking for some kind of API the API which can process different, like which can process like what you can assume that basically we're looking for some API which will handle both, like relational relational type of data and non-relational data. So you are looking some type of that type of API. And then he asked me a lot of questions on this, because like it can have very vast scope. You can ask many counter questions here. And then finally he asked me, like, after designing this, because uh, designing this API itself, like, and he asked many questions around that, so it took like more than 45 minutes. And then he asked me later, like, how can we make it more scalable, reliable, observable, these things. So these were like five loop rounds. And I got the result, like I got the call again from the recruiter itself after 2 days that my loop round got cleared. Like, so I had cleared 4 round out of 5 round. So then I moved to, finally, I got the call from HR after that for self discussion. And got CTC breakup, I think, after 5 days. So now we come to the last part of this video, that is the CTC breakup. So the CTC breakup that I got, the fixed CTC offered as 47 lakh per annum. Joining bonus which they offered, that was like 6 lakhs, and then 800 RSU over 4 years. Okay, so, and the current stock price is around $210. So total CTC whole in whole, like for the first year, it was approximately 85 lakhs per annum. So guys, that's it in this video. If you feel that this video was a little bit helpful for you, then please like. And if you have any question, then please comment. I will try to answer the question, any question if you have. And then please follow, subscribe. And then I'll share my experience of other companies, because I couldn't join OCI since I got some other opportunity where I wanted to work. So I'll share my experience, like where I'm currently working. So that's it guys in this video. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks a lot.